Exposures to blood and other body fluids occur across a wide variety of occupations. Healthcare workers, emergency response, and public safety personnel, and other workers can be exposed to blood through needle stick and other sharps injuries, through contact with mucous membranes such as nose and eyes, and through breaks in the skins such as cuts and open sores. It's also possible to be exposed in the hospitality industry. The pathogens of primary concern are the human immunodeficiency virus, HIV, hepatitis B virus, HBV, and hepatitis C virus, HCV. These viruses cause disease and can lead to serious illnesses and in some cases death. The most common workplace exposure is hepatitis B. Pathogens for hepatitis B can survive for several days on all kinds of surfaces. By following these procedures, you'll dramatically reduce your chance of being exposed to or infected with these deadly viruses. They're called blood-borne pathogens because exposure usually occurs from contact with blood, but not always. Other body fluids can contain small amounts of infected blood and transmit these viruses as well. The first rule to remember is treat all blood and body fluids as if they are contaminated. Don't take chances. Serious diseases require serious attention. Your employer must provide access to your property's blood-borne pathogens exposure plan. If you want or need more information about this plan, ask your supervisor. An occupational exposure refers to an exposure to blood or other infectious body fluid that may occur during the performance of your regular job duties. The job duties you perform may result in an occupational exposure to contaminated needles, contaminated broken glass, blood, or other body fluid hazards that may be present in your work area. Regardless of the hazard, you need to take steps to prevent exposure to blood and other body fluids. You should always wear latex, vinyl, or rubber gloves when cleaning any guest room or handling dirty linen or terry materials, such as sheets and towels. Even if there are no visible potential blood-borne pathogen exposure, these gloves will help protect you. Washing your hands frequently throughout the day will also help prevent exposure. Never handle broken glass with your bare hands. Use tongs or a broom and dustpan to pick up the glass. Place blood-contaminated broken glass in a sharps container, biohazard trash can, or other approved location. If you find a hypodermic needle, beware. These items should also never be touched by your bare hands. Contact your supervisor, or if you have been trained, use tongs and dispose of the needle in a sharps container. Never reach your hand into a trash can. Remove the contents by lifting out the bag or liner. Sharps containers must be stored in a secured location where the shortest person in the area can see the top of the container. This prevents a blind spot at the top of the container, where sharps could possibly be sticking out, exposing someone to cuts or needle stick injuries. Sheets, bedspreads, pillows, or linens contaminated with blood or other body fluids should be handled with care. All contaminated items and waste must be placed in a closable, leak-proof biohazard bag or container. Do not overfill these containers. When handling filled biohazard bags, use caution as these bags may contain broken glass, needles, or other sharp objects. Biohazard bags and containers must never be thrown into a regular trash. An authorized service should be called to remove and properly dispose of biohazard waste. Personal protective equipment, or PPE, is designed to prevent exposure to blood-borne pathogens. Gloves can help prevent skin exposures. For protection from blood spatters or splashes into the eyes or mouth, eye and face protection should be worn. Always be prepared when handling clothing, towels, bedding, or linens. There may be sharp objects present that you cannot see. Gently shake out sheet and towels before removing them. An improperly discarded needle or contaminated glass could be hidden in sheets or towels. Beware. Generally, minor first aid procedures such as those administered for small cuts and abrasions require only rubber gloves for protection. But if you ever have any question about what PPE to wear to prevent an exposure incident, stop what you're doing and ask your supervisor first. Always discard the gloves after use or after a contamination incident. Here's the proper way to remove latex and vinyl gloves. As you can see, you must remove gloves in this way to prevent your unprotected skin from contacting the outside or contaminated portion of the glove. After removing the gloves, wash your hands with an antibacterial soap. Proper housekeeping procedures are also part of the exposure control plan. All potentially contaminated surfaces, equipment, personal protective equipment require cleaning and sanitizing. Let's say an associate cut himself on a piece of machinery or equipment. The machine is now contaminated and must be cleaned and sanitized. Cleaning is merely cleaning dirt and major residue from the surface using soap and water. Sanitizing means you're killing the bacteria and pathogens by using a disinfectant or other chemical sanitizer. Cleaning is just one part of your job. Sanitizing is the second. So what is the procedure if you do experience an exposure incident such as a needle stick, contamination of the mouth, eye, mucous membrane, or other puncture of the skin? Basically, wash the exposed area with water. Report it to your supervisor immediately and seek medical attention as quickly as possible. Fast action is the key to prevention. Post-exposure evaluation and follow-up programs will be made available to you should you be exposed to bloodborne pathogens. Medical records are confidential and only certain information may be provided to your employer. At no time will the results of any testing or other medical evaluation be reported to your employer. Your doctor will discuss all pertinent evaluations and diagnosis with you. Your rights and confidentiality are protected. It's your responsibility to follow your property's rules and exercise good judgments when handling laundry, clothing, or working with any contaminated surface or area. The most important part of controlling and preventing exposure is your attitude. If you have a good attitude or are aware of potential hazards, you can take the necessary steps to prevent exposure. Then you're doing your part for safety. Follow the rules. Wear the required personal protective equipment. Take a personal responsibility for safety and do your part. If you want more information regarding bloodborne pathogens or how to prevent an exposure incident, ask your supervisor. He'll be glad to help. Remember, bloodborne pathogens can cause deadly diseases. Treat all blood or body fluids as being infected. Protect yourself at all times with gloves. Be aware of potential hazards. Take steps to avoid contact with blood or body fluids. Remember, the safety and security of your property depends directly upon considerate, conscientious associates who care. Take personal responsibility for your safety, the safety of your coworkers, and our guests. If you have any questions about the information in this program or any other safety question or concern, please ask your supervisor.